And it blows my mind every day that, I've had access to. I was raised by a computer, and some people don't even have access to that sort of thing. Everything is in place for everybody to have mobile and data and network, yet nobody's doing it. But we are.
World Mobile is a company aiming to connect half the world to the internet. And by half of the world, that's around 4 billion people, because about 1 in 2 people don't have access to it. Cedric is an advisor to one of the subsidiaries of World Mobile Token. Hey man, you've been in crypto for 7 years. Could you
Yeah.
explain who you are and what you do?
I'm Cedric, and I'm an advisor to World Mobile Token. And before that, I was just a degenerate cryptocurrency trader.
This video is a lot longer than the rest of my videos. It's the video format to my new podcast, The Cardano People, and it's going to be split into 3 different parts. Who is Cedric? World Mobile Token explained, as well as the technology behind the nodes, and some events to look forward to when it comes to World Mobile.
But Mr. Telecom's Mickey Watkins pulled me in off the streets and gave me some good work to do, and now we're out here running the most spectacular, prolific, most well-oiled token generation event of the entire year.
I love your vocabulary.
And the demand for it's just awesome too. Like the hype that's coming to World Mobile Token behind the philosophy, not just the the token potential, is really, really something to behold.
How did you get into World Mobile in the first place? Like, how did that happen, right?
This is a cool question. So, funny enough, I mean, Mickey's a busy guy, right? Like, I get to talk to him like maybe once a week if I'm lucky. But about like 6 or 8 months ago, we were actually participating in a project together, and we were in the community for a project as it was an NFT project essentially. So we were just collecting NFTs and goofing off, and we talked before I knew he was freaking Mickey Watkins. He was just a guy on Telegram, right, with another group of these people who were like whales in this little tiny NFT project. Okay. So we weren't like balling, but we were like the whales, and we were really upset with how the NFT project was being ran. So we started our own little group. We're like, oh, we gotta call out this project, and we gotta help the little guys because the project's not going the way that we want it to. And eventually that all resolved, but then he was like, hey man, like I actually need to start picking up the pace on my project now, and I can't give too much time to that, but I'm really glad I met you guys. Would you want to help me in Telegram for my project? And then he sends me, before it came out, the Smart Village videos. And I was like, this guy's a baller. Like this guy's not a Telegram degen. This guy's like a world-class business person. Yeah. And I couldn't say no. I was like, hell yeah, I want to do that. Not these dumb NFTs. Get me off Uniswap right now.
How did you get into crypto, man? You said 7 years?
Yeah, it was right before 2015 bull run. And I remember what was happening is I was living at my dad's house, and I had collected a bunch of money from saving just by working my normal jobs. I worked at like a Papa John's, and I made hella cash tips, and I was like, well, I did better than most of my friends. I saved up all my cash. I have, X amount of money. And I'd always been like building computers and online my whole life. Like the internet raised me as much as either one of my parents. And so I had a good exposure to Bitcoin at that point. And because I lacked the mental faculties to like worry about risk assessment, I YOLO'd that shit. I was like, I want some Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
Yeah, I want some Bitcoin. And from there, I mean, I got onto like Bittrex, and then Binance came around, and I was like, this is awesome. And then at the end of the 2015 cycle, I lost all my money. You know how the chart goes, right? Yeah. I was down there. I was like, it's never coming back. I'm out. I'm leaving. Then, like a few months pass, and like I see that little bump of hope. I'm like, I'm time to get in. Like, let's go again. 2017, boom, super high gains, made it all back and then some. And then boom, did the same thing again. Lost all my cash this time around. because I'm still working this whole time, right? Like I'm still making money. So like, while that's devastating, it hurts mostly the ego. This time around, I was taught how to actually be a good chart artist, a good technical analysis individual.
That's so interesting.
He taught me wick off mostly and horizontal charting.
You got me
strategies.
completely lost there, man. Everybody in crypto is a technical analysis like guru, and I'm just like,
It's the
you
way to
know,
go. It's the way to go for trading profitability. Like
yeah.
it is. Like it maybe not for investment, but like if you want to like be a trader. And because of WEQNT, this time when the market rallied super hard, I was able to exit with the majority of my gains. So right now I'm sitting with pretty low crypto exposure. And part of that's because the charts told me like, hey, this may not be over, but it's not a time to trade, which is the
Mm,
most crucial thing to know is like, you don't have to be 100%. You just have to have, a little bit of conviction, but also because I'm doing world mobile, and that's a lot cooler than being some guy that checks charts all day, because I can
yeah.
talk to people like you, and we can grow together, and we can talk about this mission to connect the unconnected,
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
that's super cool, and it blows my mind every day that I've had access to. I was raised by a computer, and some people don't even have access to that
Mm,
sort of thing. That's
mm.
I know it's completely ridiculous. Everything is in place for everybody to have mobile and data and network, yet nobody's doing it.
Mm,
But we are.
mm. So interesting, man. When you say connect the unconnected, how does World Mobile Token contribute to that?
That's a good question. Where the token comes in is in my opinion a really crucial part, because we could lay the infrastructure to connect the unconnected in a way that traditional operators already do,
Mm,
which is we would pay the upfront cost to go set up the network, and then we would charge you to access to it.
mm,
What they're not doing is they're not allowing somebody like you or me or my friend or a shopkeeper or an entire village or a group of people or a coalition to set up the infrastructure that runs the network and provides connectivity to it. That's kind of a radical idea.
mm.
The way that we bolster that idea up is that we make it so that if you provide this network as a service to your region, or even if you only provide a blockchain node, so that we have somewhere to stamp all of our transactions on this network, you are rewarded with world mobile tokens, and
Mm.
those tokens can also be used inversely if you choose to regain access to the network. So you might have one guy that's a shopkeeper, and he buys an air node and he runs an air node, and he collects a bunch of WMT, and then he transfers that WMT to his friends and family, who in turn use the network.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Really
And
pushing
that's
that what you call the sharing economy, right?
yeah, the sharing economy. And so the tokens are a massive layer to what that is, because it allows us to introduce kind of a second currency to the lives of whoever uses the service, whether they use primarily their local currency in Tanzania, or they're using local currency, and I don't know where we'll be next, somewhere in South America. There's still WMT, and
Mm.
that WMT will provide all functions of the network, of the access, as a reward for the entire thing to run.
Yeah, yeah. So it's meant as a reward and also to like as a currency for services, for products.
Yeah, and I am totally not smart enough to speak to the other capabilities that the team plan on doing with WMT,
Okay.
but that's just what it does now. Is it if you provide service, you're getting WMTs, and if you need service, you can totally pay in WMTs.
So the next segment is the technology behind World Mobile Token. A lot about Earth nodes. Now, some of this video is gonna be leaving out some of the details that he does mention. If you guys want a deeper dive into that, comment down below. We want Earth node video. You touched on the nodes, the three different air, earth, and then the ether. Could you explain those?
Yeah, I'm also not very great at this, because these telecoms guys, man, they are some wizards when it comes to understanding their technology. But from my understanding, Aether node is required at least one per country, because it services a large area, and it bridges our network to legacy operators if needed, and our network together over large kilometers or miles of spaces. And it's essentially a large, if you want to envision it kind of like a cell tower, I suppose that you could. And then the air nodes are the access layer. They are like it could be a small little Wi-Fi device, but those are, because they're the access layer, they're going to be in service areas. So if somebody says like, hey, I want to run an air node in Canada right now, it's like, well,
We don't have the
we don't
connections
have
there.
that yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have that yet, because in order to run this network, you have to be, fully licensed and regulated. It is just like a traditional mobile network. But for right now, air nodes are going to be in service areas, and a large part of the rollout that we're doing right now following the TGE is building these and setting these up, because we're going to have to own a few of them at the get-go just to get the mesh started.
And then the Earth node.
nodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a lot to say about this. I actually wrote down some talking points on Earth nodes, because
Okay.
Earth nodes are super hot right now. Earth nodes are like the backbone of the entire world mobile chain, because they're kind of like a Cardano stake pool or an Ethereum or Bitcoin node, right? Because they validate and they process transactions made on chain, including but not limited to calls, text, data, peer-to-peer transfer. So to have a secure and efficient global network, we want to have a lot of them, and we want to have them running at full health. A lot of people are interested in those right now because they have no geographical restriction, right? Unlike the Aether nodes and the air nodes. So you don't really have to be in Zanzibar or Tanzania to provide, blockchain services to those that use the network. A lot of people already know by this point that it takes 100,000 WMT as a base requirement to be accepted into the network there.
Yeah.
But lately, people now, because they kind of understand that whole thing, they're really curious about hardware and software requirements. They're like, well, what does it take to run one of these? And a lot of the reason why we haven't released any hardware requirements is because Earth nodes are actually being developed jointly with IOHK, and they're not done. They're just not done yet. We do know that there will be kind of two tiers of hardware levels that Earth nodes will be able to run on. The first is like a low spec, like a Raspberry Pi 4 Model B kind of thing. The second tier is like a medium or high spec kind of node, which would be like a desktop computer or like a hosted server kind of style. So it's all up to people to figure out like what's right for them in the future. In order for the CAAS Earth nodes to significantly out-reward the blockchain only Earth nodes, it needs to be near the optimal routes of service. So if your CAAS Earth node is here in California and the network is full blast over there in Zanzibar, someone's European CAAS node will probably be called before the Californian node. But no matter what kind of Earth node you run, our token economics, which were written really cool enough by jointly actually with the founders of Delphi Digital, are designed to provide inflation rewards the entire time and prior to any node usage. Nodes are profitable just due to tokenomics if you're measuring in tokens. Sorry, that was a lot. That's how it works.
Dude, I just felt like I had a college class on Earth nodes. Now are some things that we're gonna be looking forward to with World Mobile. Before we get into that, let me ask you guys a question. How many of you guys are actually staking your ADA? It's difficult to find a stake pool that you want to delegate your ADA towards, and that's why we're partnered with Dionisio at WEQNT. He's a Cardano ambassador running the only stake pool which delivers free lighting to the poor and unfortunate in rural areas. This is a stake pool that I'm personally delegated to because I love their mission, and they're providing solar-powered lighting to villages in Kenya. They're really communicative on their Twitter and really accountable with the stuff that they're doing.
They want to plant a tree at night. This is so beautiful. These bulbs are very useful.
Delegate your ADA to WEQNT. Now back to the video. Are there partnerships coming for World Mobile? And what about World Mobile token coming to Cardano Dexes? Stay tuned. So from my understanding, regulation, because all that, you're not able to have it in many countries. What is the plan, if there is any, for seeing those on Dexes?
Like you said, the reason we're not in other countries is due to either regulatory pressure or the lack of regulations, or somebody just didn't respond to our emails, which a lot of the time when people got mad at us when their country wasn't involved, it's like, hey, your guys didn't even say hi to us. Like we can't do it unless they say hello,
Yeah.
The good thing is that Cardano Dexes are developing like mad, and everybody knows they're going to be super hot, and they're going to be the next best thing since toasted sliced bread. And I don't want to give too much information, but we're we're really happy for all of them.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay. How many Dexes are there in the works?
God, like 9, and probably more. You know, and
Yeah.
nobody really knows who's gonna win that battle. It makes the Uniswap degen in me just go crazy. Like, ooh, time to buy some coins.
What kind of partnerships can you shed light on?
Oh, really? You're asking a partnership question? Okay. I don't know. In the other videos, we've been teasing a partnership for a few weeks now,
Okay.
and the partnership's super sick. It's one of the coolest partnerships in all of crypto that I've ever seen. I don't know if anybody has anything like this.
Ooh.
Um,
Okay.
and it's really big. And it's coming soon.
Okay.
But it's an announcement that keeps getting relegated due to the importance of all these TGE announcements. But I can say the next big announcement is kicking off in the next 7 days.
All right, man. I'll be grabbing all my caffeine within those 7 days. I'll be awake.
It's pretty sick though, and really nobody in crypto has what we're about to reveal, and
So
it's gonna be amazing for awareness on a global scale.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the things about a lot of the whole perception of crypto is like, oh, that's just some internet money or whatever, you know? That's just pyramid schemes and stuff. But that's why I'm so interested in the technology and the actual adoption partnerships being done. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this, there's still much more to come on the Cardano People podcast. There's a lot more details on there. That's the full version. This is simply a video version. If you guys are interested, check that out. The link is in the comments. Subscribe because we are investing in changing the world. I'll see y'all. You're an extremely interesting person, by the way.
Hey, man, I love your videos. They are very refreshing. Crypto videos can be like so aggressive, and you're just like,
yeah.
Cardano is.